This sculpture is by the artist Marion Perkins. It's titled Skywatcher from about 1948. It's made of marble. And Marion Perkins has a very interesting story, as does this sculpture. Perkins came to Chicago from Arkansas at the age of 8. He was part of many African Americans who were moving north during the Great Migration, either by themselves or with their families, or to live with families in order to find better opportunities for themselves, economic, social opportunities. He settled in with an aunt in the Bronzeville neighborhood, which was a very vibrant African American community in the mid part of the 20th century in Chicago. He had very little formal training as an artist, but he did start carving and making sculptures as a young man. He had a newsstand on the south side of Chicago and would carve out, apparently, as the story goes, carve on the sidewalk next to the newsstand. And his work received attention by other artists and arts administrators and curators in passing, and his name spread, his reputation spread. The source of his materials is also very interesting because he would scavenge old buildings that were being demolished, looking for door sills, window sills, ledges, any large, often flat pieces of marble or stone from which to carve. He did work briefly for a time with the WPA and became associated with some of the artists who were teaching at some of the workshops in Chicago, and it's there that he did have received some formal training in sculpture. And also at this point became known among both black and white artists in Chicago, and started to show rather extensively during the 30s, 40s, into the 50s. This particular piece, Skywatcher, comes later on in his career, and it is a response to the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, an event that he thought was a milestone of one of the lowest milestones of humanity, but also of interest to him in his own thinking was that the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had parallels with the way that African Americans are treated in this country. He saw both acts of aggression against minority peoples, non-white peoples, as indicative of the systemic racism within this country. And for him, it was that consideration, that solidarity that he felt with people, innocent people who were murdered through war, through daily prejudice, through segregation, through whatever means, he found solidarity amongst the experience of these people. And so the Skywatcher series was this, again, sort of symbolic, again, almost kind of mythic body of work of people who are craning up to look at what is about to fall upon them. And in that simple gesture, in this sort of very solid, almost heroic form, and then this very head twisted backwards and looking straight up, that strained feel, it's all that tension in that body as someone is looking to see what is about to befall them, to fall upon them. And it's a very, very poignant gesture. And it was one of his last bodies of work that he, as far as I understand, he continued to work on until the end of his life. So Skywatcher is a monument to this particular point in history, a memorial, and also a lesson, a warning of aggression and prejudice and the effects of war upon the lives of innocent people.